Three, two, three, two. We should be romancing somewhere in Jamaica, making love in Lagos. Let music take us. Oh, we should be romancing somewhere in Jamaica. Let the music take us. Let goodness take us. It's take us. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Hey, yo, welcome back to another episode of the Arts Block Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Curry III, and today, back at it like a crack addict. Listen, man, I tried to record this episode yesterday. I tried to record this episode yesterday. For some reason, the audio didn't record. That episode did not want to get to y'all. That episode did not want to get to y'all for some odd reason. The audio only recorded for like the first 3 minutes of the podcast. Then the other 30 minutes, it was just, I was talking for no reason. It was so embarrassing. I went to go and edit the pod. It was so embarrassing. Oh my goodness. I was like, oh, I gotta record today on my off day. I was thinking about just putting out a statement being like, hey, so sorry, but no Arts About Podcast this week. But in my mind, I was like, I have to upload. Wednesday's the original day. I have to upload a pod on Wednesday. Thank y'all for tuning into another episode of the Arts About Podcast. Again, my name is Eric Curry III. You can follow me on Instagram at Eric Curry III. You can follow the podcast at Arts Block Podcast. If you're tuned in on your favorite podcast platform, please give me a 5-star and a review. You can just say that this is the greatest podcast that you have ever heard in your life, and that will suffice. If you are tuned in on your favorite podcast platform, please give me if you're tuned in on YouTube, please give me a 5-star and a review. No, god damn it, Eric, lock in. If you are tuned in on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a podcast. All right, first things first, jumping in. Travis Scott versus Sabrina Carpenter. Are the numbers real? So Travis Scott released Days Before Rodeo last week. Sabrina Carpenter released, if y'all don't know who Sabrina Carpenter is, she's a new pop artist. She was a Disney Channel child star. I believe she was in Girl Meets World. I believe that was the show that she was in. Now she's turned music pop star. I haven't listened to her album, probably won't listen to her album, but I've heard nothing but great things about her album. Her album is called one second, Short and Sweet. And yeah, I heard that the album was great. Heard that the album was so great that it sold 362,000. Wow. First week. And Travis Scott released Days Before Rodeo. If you don't know what Days Before Rodeo is, Days Before Rodeo is an old Travis Scott mixtape that he released before he released Rodeo, hence the name Days Before Rodeo. Old Travis Scott mixtape. I think that mixtape was released 10 years ago. He re-released the mixtape for its 10-year anniversary. And that sold 361,000 copies first official week on DSPs, right? So now I have to raise the question. Are these numbers real? Are these numbers real? Because I don't think so. I don't think that these numbers are real. I don't think that these are real numbers that they're selling. I'm sorry, I might sound like a hater. I don't think that these are real numbers. What kind of threw me off about the numbers, right, is when the Billboard charts was delayed. The Billboard album chart results were delayed. The Billboard Top 200 charts, right? They were delayed for the week. And that never happens. That's something that I haven't seen happen. That's something that's it's just really odd for that to happen, right? For the Billboard charts to be delayed. And they were delayed because of the Sabrina Carpenter and Travis Scott one-upping each other. I'm guessing, right? I'm assuming, right? And sources say that Sabrina Carpenter won the standoff between her and Travis Scott by 600 units. Only 600 units, right? That's how much she won by, which is crazy, right? The margin, for reference, that means that the margin was very small, right? The margin was very small for her to win. Now, the reason why I'm saying that I don't believe that a lot of these numbers are real, right, is because, listen, we are in a day and age where it's hard for top selling acts, right? Think about when Kanye dropped Graduation, right? Graduation almost sold 1 million copies first week, and he was going against 50 Cent, right? 50 Cent at that time. Well, would you consider 50 Cent hotter than Fish Grease in 2008? That's up for you to decide. But in my opinion, 50 Cent was hot, right? And he sold almost 1 million copies, beating out 50 Cent by a hell of a lot of copies, right? But that was in 2008 when you had to go actually physically buy records, right? Since then, the DSP market and the streaming market has made it so not one stream is equals one album sale, which would make sense in my mind, right? If I buy an album and I play like, if, wouldn't one stream make sense as one album sale? Wouldn't that make sense? Like I stream anyway. Never mind. I'm not getting into that anyway. Anyway, so yes, with the day of streaming the music industry is still trying to figure out and calculate how much artists get paid from streams, what a stream actually is, how to navigate the streaming world and sales, and how the artist benefits off the streaming and DSPs and all that stuff. As they're trying to figure that out, which I think they're coming close to figuring it out if they haven't already figured it out recently, the album sales for big acts has gone down through recent years. For example, Lotto sold 23,000, so 23, 24,000 first week, somewhere around there. YG, who you would now consider a legacy act with no label, I think this is his first totally independent project, no huge backing. He sold 8K first week, and he had no huge backing. It was just him, no real big. I don't think he had like a real big budget for the project. I didn't see no real marketing dollars from outside people push the project, right? But in contrast to a Big Sean's album, where you see every Twitter platform talk about the album, where you see him going on all the interviews, where you see him at all the places, he's doing all the right things to promote the album. YG didn't do such, and he sold 8K, right? However, that 8K sales, they translated that to how many streams that actually is, and I forgot the number, but that's a lot of people streaming your album if you sell 8,000 records. So that puts into perspective that Lotto selling 23,000 records, how many people are buying that record, right? And I think J. Cole's last project, Might Delete Later, I think that sold I want to say 30, 140 first week. So I'm just throwing you numbers out there, right? Just to show you how the streaming market compared to when Kanye dropped and when they were selling hundreds of thousands easily, and if you didn't go gold during this time, it's a flop, to where now if like 100K is the bar, right? Instead of 500K being the bar, 100K is the bar, or 80K, 50K that's the bar, right? That's the standard for hip hop and rappers. I say that to say this. In a mixtape that was released a year or so, 10 years ago, re-releasing on DSPs, I don't care who the artist is, you're not selling 300K first week. I don't think when Drake re-released So Far Gone, which is one of the greatest mixtapes ever, one of the greatest mixtapes, if not the greatest mixtape that came out of the blog era, when he released So Far Gone, I don't think that sold 300K first week. Actually, let's see. I don't even know if these numbers will pop up. How much did I can't type. But yeah, I don't think So Far Gone did 300K first week on first week. How much did So Far Gone sell? Lord Jesus, I can't spell. Oh, on so first week on DSP piece. So Far Gone first week sales, United States, it sold 109,000 copies first week, and Drake's the biggest artist in the world, so he re-released it. Hold on. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Wait. Hold on. Hold on. They don't have the re-release on here. Never mind. I take that back because they don't have the actual re-release on there. How much he got back when he re-released the album on DSPs. But I'm telling you right now, it wasn't 300. It wasn't 300,000. So, and I'm saying that to say this, right? Not saying that Travis is a. I'm not saying that he isn't an incredible artist. I'm not saying that he's a legend, not a legendary act. I'm not saying that he doesn't have some amazing records, super hit records, smash records. I'm not saying that, right? What I am saying is that I don't believe that your fans or just fans in general got you 300,000 streams off of a project that was released 10 years ago. That's the key part. The key part in this is off of a project that was released 10 years ago. Not necessarily because the music isn't good, but it's because we already heard this music before. So this music isn't special compared to artists like Sabrina Carpenter, who sold 362,000 first week off of a brand new album. But this is why I think her numbers are iffy as well. Because not only did Billboard delay their charts for the week, right? But when the charts finally came out and when they delayed their charts, Travis Scott was number one. So when they delayed their charts, Travis Scott had the higher sales. Travis Scott, I think, was leading with 361. I think the label, Sabrina's label, whoever she signed to, put a halt on everything, did some fugazi things, mess with the numbers a little bit, just tweak the numbers a little, just a little tweak the numbers a little so it can look more favorable to her. And then then was like, okay, we can press play on this. And when it came out, she first week, and she didn't get outsold by an artist whose album came out 10 years ago, right? So I think that was the big thing. However, I don't like this, right? I don't like the whole faking numbers thing. I don't like the whole fluke numbers thing. I don't like the whole fluke sales thing, because it tells me that it shows me that it's not just about the music. And it shows me that it's not just about how good or bad the music is, but it's about the name of the artist, right? And if anything that this artist dropped that's of this big name sells under this amount, then it's going to look weird. It's going to look like a fall off. It's going to look like things aren't going in their favor, which shouldn't be the case. If it's a new album that Travis dropped and it underperformed, that's one thing. But a mixtape from 10 years ago that quote unquote underperformed, would you really call that underperforming if it's a mixtape from 10 years ago? I don't know. But I don't think that these numbers and also I don't think that these numbers are helping the artist at all. I don't think that these numbers are helping the artist gauge if they aren't real, right? And again, this is all speculation. I don't know anything. If these numbers aren't real, I don't think that faking the numbers are helping the artist gauge anything. Gauge whether the audience like like these type of songs, whether they and I'm not just speaking just about Travis at this point. I'm just speaking in general about any artist in general, right? If you ever try to like fake or push numbers, I don't think that's going to be helpful for you as an artist or a creative, because how are you going to gauge what's good or not? How are you going to gauge what's bad or not? How are you going to gauge what people actually like or what people are actually listening to? But to think about it, right? To think about it now, in this case, again, Lotto sold 23,000, and back in the day, like in the 90s, early 2000s, you sold 23,000. You went double aluminum. But now today, it's like, oh snap, I sold 23,000. That's better than such and such who only sold this amount, right? And Lotto's album was really good, so 23,000, and it was really good. But that just goes to show you where sales are for albums are at right now. If I was an artist coming out today, right, I'm singling these people to death. Single. You're going to have to force me to put out a project. Kind of like what Glorilla's doing, right? Glorilla always has a single in the tuck. always single, ready to put out a single will single you to death, right? If she releases a project, we don't know how good that's going to do, but it might do better than what other people's projects are projected to do because of how many singles that she released. So if I was a new artist and I was in the music industry, instead of being so focused on releasing a project, I'll just be focused on releasing these singles, bro. Just get all of these singles out. 1 single, 2 singles, 3 singles, 4 singles. Get as many singles as you can out. Then at the end, then when it's all said and done, when your album finally releases, it's like, oh man, we liked these 10 singles from her or from him. Then we can go on and then now I feel more inclined to listen to the album based off of what the singles were, right? But that's just my opinion. Again, I don't know anything about music. But shout out to Travis Scott, shout out to Sabrina Carpenter. I hope that they keep making great music and keep elevating. But I also hope that the music industry doesn't get so caught up in who does what first week and just let the music be the music. But when has the music industry ever let the music be the music? All right, next thing on the docket. Listen, I touched on this, the pod that didn't have no audio, the no audio pod. RIP Fat Man Scoop. Fat Man Scoop unfortunately passed away, I think on the 31st of August. He was found, well, he wasn't found, he collapsed on stage and doing what he loved, and he unfortunately passed away. Somebody said that his last words were put your hands up, like everybody in the building put your hands up or something like that. I don't want to misquote his last words, but it was something along those lines. And you know, just being able to just being able, the last thing that you do on earth being something that you love to do. Man, like he went out doing something that he loved, something that he cared about, making people happy, making people dance, having people put their hands in the air. Man, it must be a powerful thing. And I just want to say rest in peace to the legend Fat Man Scoop. You will be missed. I appreciate everything that you've done for hip hop. Appreciate everything that you've done for like DJing and MCing. Yeah, like you've kind of paved the way for at least in my eyes for the things that I would like to do. So RIP Fat Man Scoop. Yeah. Also moving on. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all that I'm finally in New York. I'm back in New York. Let's give it up for being back in New York. Let's give it up. Let's give it. Whoa. Let's give it up for being back in New York. Yeah. So just moved back. When did I move back? I moved back Sunday. Yeah, I moved back Sunday. This is the dorm. Now, the setup might not be this. The setup might not be this for forever, right? It's depending on some circumstances. I have my own thing. I don't have a roommate, so depending on if a roommate does come or not, the setup won't look like this for forever. The setup will change. I will have things moving around. Y'all will be positioned differently. I got a plan, got some ideas that I want to do for the room. But yeah, I am in New York, moved to New York. So I'm here. New York, turn me up. Any things, any events, any places, any music stuff, film stuff, TV stuff, festival stuff that y'all want me to pop out to, shoot some content, shoot some stuff there. Let me know. I will be going to Digilog Days again this year, helping out at Digilog Days again this year with 24/7 artists. So I will be shooting some content there for y'all. And if y'all want to be stayed in tune with all content, all things Arts Block Podcast, or all things Eric Curry III, make sure y'all follow me on Instagram again at Eric Curry III. That's ERICCURRYIII to stay up to date with everything going on Arts Block Podcast. Cast. All right, next thing on the docket: Cleopatra versus Ice Spice. Ding ding ding. Let's get ready to rumble. If y'all don't know, Cleopatra is an artist that Ice Spice was taking on tour with her, and they had a falling out, let's just say the least. Cleopatra felt like she was being Cleopatra. She released a statement. She's an artist. I guess you would label her as a rapper, and she released a statement on TikTok. It's a 9-part series. Did I watch it? No, but I just got the cliff notes off of Twitter, and she basically was like, listen, I was on tour with Ice Spice. I felt underappreciated. I didn't feel like I was being heard. I tried to go to Ice Spice about all of my concerns and just how I felt about everything. And basically what Ice Spice told her is that she was fat and that she needs to basically Ice Spice told her that she was fat and she needs to stop eating. That's not funny. That's not funny, but I'm just thinking, like, out of all the things you were, listen, your best friend called you out earlier this year for being messy, right? For being messy and mean and rude. Cleopatra just called you out for being messy, mean, rude, disrespectful, uninviting. And you know, even though you let her onto this tour, it felt like, you know, it was just being rude, right? And giving her false promises. Like Ice Spice told her that she didn't have to worry about everything would be taken care of, but she didn't even like give her her own room, right? Or for example, like her I think Cleopatra said something about her, like her bags being picked up, and she was willing to like pay for her bags to be picked up, but like her bags were never picked up or something like that, right? I find it funny that all of these artists who people just were saying that they got bad vibes from in the beginning are now coming out and being like, bad vibes confirmed. Bad vibes confirmed. Ice Spice, I don't think you learned anything from Yachty when Yachty went on Instagram Live and didn't make anything better for himself. Even though, again, I believe a lot of the things Lil Yachty said about Caribou on that live. But however, that live showed me more about who Lil Yachty is than it showed me who Caribou is. I'm doing the same thing with you in that Twitter Spaces. That Twitter space showed me a lot more about who you are than it did who Cleopatra is. Artists, friends, family, foe, people who surround themselves with artists all the time. Listen up. If you are a loved one or suffering from, if you or an artist around you are suffering from backlash, suffering from you know, the media trying to say things about you, people trying to say things about you, I think the best thing for you to do is just shut up and not say anything. The backlash that you get is going to be from the backlash you get from saying the things that you want to say will be way more. It will be way worse than you just not saying anything at all and just letting it pass over, right? Ice Spice, you lost over 500,000 followers in 8 days. You lost 8,000 followers today alone. I think you just need to press pause and just take a break. Again, I think a lot of these artists just need to press pause and take a break. Ice Spice, you had a great run. But also, Ice Spice, you had a great run. It was amazing. But also, this is the effect of when the music isn't good enough to outshine all of the messiness that goes on. Again, another Kanye example. I hate to keep bringing up Kanye in this pod, but another Kanye example is when Kanye released My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, right after the whole Taylor Swift thing, when he went on stage, Taylor Swift, and was like, I'm sorry, Taylor, but Beyonce had the best, what's the name of all time, best album of all time, right? People hated Kanye after that. The world hated Kanye. However, Kanye made good music, and they was like, all right, we forgive you. If you're not making good music after, if you're not making good music, good art, good anything after, or even if your previous music or art or anything isn't good after controversy like that, then there's no, then it's not going to work within the controversy. You're not going to see the other side. The only reason artists like Kanye, artists like Drake, who's going to see the other side, Jay-Z, they're going to see the other side. The only reason artists like that are going to see the other side is strictly because the music is good. Beyonce, Rihanna, no matter what, they're going to see the other side because the music is good. Ice Spice, your music is just not good enough you need to be America's sweetheart. You need to be like the nicest, the most sweetest person in the world. Everybody needs to love you. Nobody needs to find no reason to hate you just because the music isn't as good as other rappers. Like, you are the lackluster rapper when it comes to the girl rappers in the now stage, right, of female rap. You are the lackluster one. You are the one that's behind. You are the one that's behind the eight ball. So I'm saying, and I'm not saying that to be mean or facetious. I'm not saying that in any way, but I'm saying that so you can be cautious of how you treat people and the way you treat people affects you, right, in the long run. And also remember, people are going to have preconceived notions of you anyway. So if they think that you're a bad person and somebody comes out and says that you're a bad person, no matter what you say or what you do, their preconceived notion is confirmed because somebody else was like, oh yeah, I had this run-in with such and such and such, and it wasn't a great run-in, right? Whether you was having a bad day or what, right? Nobody cares. What they do care about is the long-lasting impression that you have on other people, right? And these impressions that you have on other people aren't good, especially now in your career. You're new, you're early, you're fresh in here, and people are already just saying like, yeah, nah, this isn't it. So, again, you, Lil Yachty, Drake, take a vacation, take a break, go somewhere, go out the country, travel. I don't know, munch, do something. Do something. I don't know. Do something. Just stay away from a booth and a mic. However, I do think she's on tour right now, and congratulations to her for that. But I do also think that it is best for Ice Spice to just go bye bye for now, just for a little bit, right? Until this all blows over and this is to pass, right? Because this and the Yachty situation kind of like mirrors each other to me just a little bit. And if there's more information that comes out about this whole Cleopatra and Ice Spice thing, or if there's more that unfolds, I will let y'all guys know and I will stay up on it. But also remember, like, if you ever reach a stage of stardom or if you ever reach a stage of success, just know that there's always going to be consequences for your actions. So what you do and how that affects people is that's what matters the most, right? Whether you're trying to do the good thing or not. But yeah, next thing on the docket, probably last thing on the docket before I get out of there, 50 Cent allegedly offered Tony Yayo $5 million to start his own podcast because he is tired of him doing interviews for just little thousands of dollars on different platforms, right? I think that this is a dope idea. 50 Cent is already taking over the media space with power. He has BMF, which is, but hey. So I think that if 50 Cent would just start attacking the media space as a whole, right? And get into podcasting, get into like different forms of content creation, gets into just different things, right? I think that will be very effective for him, especially for somebody like Tony Yayo, who is freaking hilarious. Oh my goodness, if y'all have never watched the Tony Yayo interview, please watch the Tony Yayo interview. Even though I hate Vlad, Tony Yayo has the interview with Vlad, and Vlad asked him a question, and Tony Yayo was like, and Tony Yayo was a whole meme. He was like, Vlad, don't ask me that dumbass shit, bro. So yes, if 50 Cent does this, I think if you're in the position to help your friends, if you're in the artistic position to help people, to help your gang, to help your family financially, and you have the platform to do so, do it. Like, I think 50 offering his man 55, I say about to say 50 mil, offering my guy 5 mil to, to start a platform, to start his own platform, talk his own talk the way that he wants to, and not have to take just tens of thousands of dollars from, just anybody, and eventually make revenue off of the platform along with the 5 million that was given to him. If I can help my man eat forever, then I'm going to do that, right? I think the saying goes like, you can teach a man, you can give a man a fish, and he can eat for a day. But if you teach a man a fish, he can eat for forever. This is a way that this is a prime example of 50 Cent teaching him how to fish. Hey man, I'm gonna give you this 5 million. You can go start your own podcast, whatever the case. Tell your stories how you want, uncensored. Do whatever the case may be, right? But if this isn't a real story, isn't a real thing that's happening, then just ignore what I'm saying now. Again, this is all alleged, but I think that it will be a very good idea. And who loses in this situation? I don't think anyone loses in this situation. I don't think Tony Yayo loses. I don't think 50 Cent loses. I don't think nobody loses. And do y'all see how much money these white people are getting? I don't want to say it like that because there is well deserved. But do y'all see how much money these people are getting? Alex Cooper, the Kelsey brothers, Joe Rogan, all these people that are getting off of podcasting. Alex Cooper just signed 125 for 3 years for Sirius. The Kelsey brothers just signed a $100 million deal with Amazon. What do Kelsey brothers need $100 million for? What they need $100 million for? One of them is a retired NFL player, and the other one is currently still in the NFL. What do they need $100 million for? Then Joe Rogan signed with Spotify for 225. It was 250. I think 225, 250 or something like that. Man, give Tony Yayo that $5 million. Give Tony Yayo that $5 million. I promise you're gonna recoup on the back end, brother. You are going to recoup that on the back end. And speaking of back end, this is the back end of the pod. So thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of the Arts Block Podcast. I have been your host, Eric Curry III. But before we get out of here, I will give y'all my dead or alive. Now, if this is your first time watching the Arts Block Podcast, hello. If this is your last time watching the Arts Block Podcast, well, goodbye. But the Arts Block Podcast is a podcast where we do the segment called Dead or Alive. Now, Dead or Alive is a segment on the podcast where me or the artist gets to choose artists that we would like to work with that is dead or alive. Now, we can choose one artist. We can choose 100 artists. This is my podcast, so I'm going to do whatever I want. I think yesterday I said I would do Fat Man Scoop because RIP, the guy. I'm gonna do Jada Kiss because I'm in New York City. We're gonna do all New York. We're gonna do Fat Man Scoop. Is Fat Man Scoop from New York? I think he is. We're gonna do Fat Man Scoop. We're gonna do Jada Kiss. And we're gonna do 50. We're gonna do 50 Cent, man. I don't think I ever had 50 Cent on Dead or Alive, so we're gonna do 50, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode of Dead. I was about to say another episode of Dead or Alive, another episode of the Arts Block Podcast. I have been your host, Eric Curry III. You can follow me on Instagram at Eric Curry III. You can follow the podcast at Arts Block Podcast. That is on Instagram. If you are tuned in on your favorite podcast platform, make sure you give me a 5-star and a review. You can just say that this is the greatest podcast that you have ever heard in your life, and that will suffice. If you are listening on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a podcast. Remember that artists never die. I love you. God loves you. Do something that makes you happy every day and do it well. I will see y'all when I see y'all, boys. Peace.